What is going on, guys? How are you guys doing tonight? Just waiting for people to show up. I announced the live stream in the Discord just a few minutes ago. I should be doing these, I should announce them much more in advance, and I should be doing them more often. What's up, Copter Tube? Yo, 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 yo. What's going on? Yeah, I should definitely be announcing these further in advance. I'm trying to do more live streams. I would actually, if I had the time, I would like to do, at least one live stream per day. I actually enjoy doing them. What's up, Julio? Coppertube, what is your stop limits at? Wow, getting right into it, huh? Are you talking about Bitcoin? Copter Tube? Hey, what's going on, Rome? What's up, Harold? Oh, from Bali. Wow, what time is it there? I imagine it's probably what, around midday, maybe noon in Bali. What's up, Joseph? What's up, Willis? Copter Tube, are you asking what my stop limits are on Bitcoin? Well, if you are, okay, so on Bitcoin. So if you're asking what my stop limits are, my stop limit already hit, and I'm assuming, what's up, all Carolyn? Javier, ¿cómo estás? What's going on? Um, I'm assuming that you're talking about the short position that we opened earlier today. And for those of you that aren't on the Discord and are not signed up to the trade alerts, I sent out a short position on Bitcoin. If you look at the Discord, the trade alert, the last one that I sent out, I shorted Bitcoin at 10,850. I'll talk about why that is in a second. Thank you, Julio, for confirming that the audio and video is good. Hopefully, the video stays good. Um, yeah, so essentially, I'll talk about why I set that short at 10,850. But my profit target was 10 and a half, 10,500 and below. And essentially in BitMEX, I don't know what you guys use, but for me, I use BitMEX for my leverage trading. You can actually set a trailing stop natively. So I had a trailing stop, but in BitMEX, you don't set the percentage like you would on something like 3 commas. So essentially, you set a dollar amount, and if Bitcoin, if you're shorting and Bitcoin climbs by that dollar amount or more, then you take profit. So I had that. I think once we hit 10,350, I had it set for a $50 trailing stop, meaning that if at any point Bitcoin climbed by $50 or more, then I would take profit, and that's what I did. So I'm stopped out of Bitcoin. I exited for close to 70% profit. I hope that answers your question, Copter Tube. Fritz Lang says, "Good evening. Thanks for the live broadcast." Well, good evening to you too, if you are on this side of the world. And yeah, man, like I said, I want to keep doing more of these. Francisco Nova says, "Hi from Mexico. What's going on?" I'll be in Mexico in about a month, maybe less than a month. I'll be in Mexico. So, yeah. Love Mexico, by the way. So, the reasons that I shorted, if you take a look at, crypto Twitter or crypto YouTube or, any of these crypto news sites, you'll see that there are reasons that they state for the short, right? So, here you see Bitcoin plunges following Fed Chair Powell's anti-crypto comments. And then right below that, you'll see another article that says, "Did Bakkt warehouse custody tank the Bitcoin price?" Because Bakkt, although Bakkt is not live yet, it's live September 23rd. The warehouse custody services went live earlier. And, this is the custody services is basically where they're going to be holding all of the Bitcoin. Now, I don't know why people would think that would tank the Bitcoin price. I think that they're just looking for an event that would, that led to the tanking of Bitcoin price. But I'll tell you why Bitcoin tanked. And for those of you that are technical analysts or are improving upon your technical analysis, you'll know this, right? Sometimes news comes out, and it's not just crypto, it happens in stocks too. Sometimes news comes out and it doesn't affect the price at all, right? So you might hear that a new round of Bitcoin futures came out, or Bitcoin futures expiration is around the corner, or some world leader took a shit on Bitcoin, or India banned Bitcoin, or whatever, and you won't see the price move. And it's because the real reason that the price of these coins and stocks move up and down. Well, stocks, there are a few reasons, but let's just stick to coins for a second. What you're looking at when you look at a chart is the aggregate of everybody's psychology mapped onto a chart, right? And that does include bot trading. Yes, Ed L. That definitely does include bot trading. But it also includes institutional traders. It includes retail investors like us. It includes everybody, right? And when the market is in tenuous territory, when it's in a continuation pattern, it doesn't know what it's doing, the volume is low, etc., then it's susceptible to any sort of catalyst that might move the price of Bitcoin. That's why sometimes you'll see if Bitcoin is on a major bull rally, and the Fed chairman or the head of some bank, or Facebook, or the head of a country comes out and shits on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has a lot of momentum going for it and the volume is astronomically high, then you could see that it's impervious to such stories. So, it's not so much that the Fed chair has said something bad about Bitcoin, or that, backed warehouse custody somehow tanked the price of Bitcoin, although that should be looked at as a positive event for Bitcoin. That's they're getting ready to launch the first physically backed Bitcoin futures ever, right? So it's not so much that, it's where Bitcoin is in terms of the chart, right? Bitcoin is forming a descending triangle. What is a descending triangle? It's basically a series of lower highs, right? And there's a clear support line here between 9100 and 9200, and a series of lower highs. And essentially this is a bearish pattern. And it could serve as a reversal pattern, especially after this long uptrend that we had. Julio says, like the saying goes, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. Yes, exactly. So that's why sometimes Bitcoin or any other coin seems impervious to certain news, and then sometimes you might link certain news stories to Bitcoin. But in my humble opinion, that is a reach. It's not due to any one news story. Like, Bitcoin was forming this series of lower highs within this descending triangle before the news came out, right? And I'll be honest, 100% honest with you. When I sent out that trade alert, if you want access to the trade alerts, by the way, link is in the description. But when I sent out that trade alert, I wasn't even looking at the news. I did not know what the hell was going on. I rarely look for news when I set up trades. I just look for what is an optimal entry and what is a pretty low risk, high reward situation. And so when I saw that Bitcoin was nearing this 10,900 mark, that's when I decided to put the alert out, right? So I shorted it at 10,850. And like I said, based on my 10x leverage, I made around 70% on that trade. Some people in the Discord actually use 25x leverage, which is insane because that's hundreds of percentage points, right? So that, in my opinion, from a chartist or a technical analyst standpoint, it has nothing to do with these news stories. I mean, yeah, I guess these are somewhat important to pay attention to, but Bitcoin was already in this setup long before those news stories came out. And I get the question a lot, what's going to happen when Bakkt is released? Is Bakkt going to propel Bitcoin's price? And in my opinion, I think that the short-term impact of Bakkt is mostly priced in, right? Rarely do you see a situation in the market where news is known well ahead of time, and the aggregate of traders, the collection of traders, are somehow all going to make money on that news when it's known well ahead of time. That never happens in markets, right? In crypto, I mean, you might see, a rally on a few candles or whatever, but I personally don't think it's going to be that drastic because it's already priced in. So that is my take on Bakkt. I do think Bakkt will have a potentially positive impact long term, in the same way that, say, like a GLD, which is the ETF. This is a physically gold-backed ETF for gold, right? In which GLD tracks the price of the gold spot against the US dollar, right? It follows it. And also, these ETFs are physically backed. So it's going to be the same instrument where institutions and traditional traders aren't going to have to mess around with Bitcoin addresses and, oh, this is too confusing. I have to transfer fiat into Bitcoin and then take that Bitcoin to an exchange and then buy Bitcoin. They'll just be able to go online, whatever trading app they use, and just buy Bitcoin ETF, just like you do. You don't have to buy physical gold when you buy the GLD. You never look at you never see the gold that you're buying. It is physically backed, but you never see it. All you do is, in Robinhood or Thinkorswim or whatever, you buy gold through an ETF like this, and that's it. That's how you could speculate on gold's price. You never have to stare at a gold bar ever again unless you really want to. Let me just check on the health of the live stream real quick. All right. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty good. Okay. So let me just go back to the chat. Samuel Adams wants to look at EOS. Where is the next buy target? 9,100. Strong breakout of that triangle when it happened. Yeah, people are more likely to point to news for answers rather than on the 4-hour. There was hard bearish divergence. Yes, exactly, Jacob. That is a very good point. Silver Jaguar says, in my opinion, Bitcoin is only for traders. It has no other use. I'm business and you're using gold for conducting. What else do you use it for? When you go buy Starbucks, you don't, whip out a gold bar and scrape up. This isn't gold, by the way. This is just a playing card. But I conveniently happen to be here. But you don't scrape off, some of that gold bar in front of the barista and pay for your nitro cold brew that way. Yeah, gold. I mean, you're speculating on gold too. So Bitcoin is the same way. I mean, it may not ever be used as a major form of currency, but it's definitely a store of value, and it has almost 10 years of history to prove that. If it was a tulip or it was a bubble or whatever, it would not have been able to regain itself back to 5-digit prices. You know what I mean? So it's already past the point of being play money, or however the executives at some of these banks or some of these world leaders like to dismiss Bitcoin. We're way past that point. So Willis said live stream lag. Fuck. This keeps happening, man. I don't know what it is here. Oh, well, it looks like it's good now. Okay. What is the next buy target for BTC? Okay, a few of you have asked that question. Well, easily, because this is a descending triangle. Ed L, I pay with diamonds at Starbucks. Sure you do. But easily 9,100 or 9,200 is the support that you see here, right, of the descending triangle, and that's essentially where you can wait to buy. And when I say low risk, high reward, this is essentially low risk, high reward, because when you do, even if you use leverage here, right? So even if you long Bitcoin at say 9,200, you could set a tight stop limit right below that. You could set a tight stop limit at 8,950 or 8,900 in case we do end up confirming this descending triangle to the downside, right? Which is the most likely move, and your trade goes south. So like I said this morning, trend is your friend until the end. Keep playing that trend. Keep exploiting it until it's no longer valid, right? Your volume is lower than most other YouTubers. I get mixed signals about this. Some people say that the volume is good. Some people say that it's too low. I'm gonna turn that up a little more. I'm just afraid to get to clip. My voice is deep, and I know I hit those low frequencies. So I'm always afraid to clip. But let me know if I need to turn that up more. But yeah, so essentially, you can keep exploiting this trend until the end, right? And we've hit it so many times already. Buying at support, selling at resistance, or even shorting at resistance, and then shorting at resistance and then buying back at support, etc. And you just keep exploiting that. Your distance from the mic. What do you want me to do? Eat it? Are you serious? See, human from Earth says it's too loud. Okay. Only one person said it was too low, so I guess I'm just going to lower it and not take that person's lower. Okay. I'm going to keep lowering it then. And I won't take I don't know if Mr. Ether is trolling me or if so, dude, just turn your computer up. All right, it's your speakers. Everyone else seems to think that the mic volume was okay until I turned it up and fucked everybody's ears up. So volume was fine. They need a new phone or something. Okay, good. Traveling trader and others. Do you trade to get more BTC or to get more fiat? Fritz Lang is asking. Um, there's no right or wrong answer, but I do when I do these one-on-ones with people. Um, I get that question a lot, and my number one answer is whatever your preference is, right? Make sure that you have a plan. Make sure that you know why you're trading. Make sure you know that you're either interested in gaining more fiat or you're either interested in getting more Bitcoin or both. In my situation, I'm flexible, but when I do enter a trade, and when I'm looking at a setup, I'm looking like, for instance, Link BTC, right? This is for those of you that aren't signed up to the trade alerts. This is a free trade alert here, but Link BTC is currently at the 200 moving average support and is finding support here, and I will be looking at this versus Bitcoin. This setup to me, I'm not looking at it versus USD. So in this trade, I'm looking to gain more Bitcoin. But then when I'm engaging in something like the ETH USD short, which I did send out and that already played out, so I don't mind showing this. But ETH USD is on the 4-hour chart is within this extremely predictable descending channel. This is like free money, right? Again, you can keep exploiting the support and resistance levels here. So, ETH USD, I'm looking to gain more fiat. Some Bitcoin maximalists absolutely don't give a shit about fiat. Like, honestly, they don't even care what the price of Bitcoin is in fiat, which is again, not wrong or right. That's just their prerogative. As long as you know what you are trading and you're looking at the proper chart and looking at the proper setups against the currency that you want to trade. So, Rigo Rock says, Ed L, get a new phone. Yes, Ed L, get a new phone. Best to get both. More fiat for trading short term, more BTC for holding long term. All right. When it gets too loud, quality drops. The other mic was okay. Let me get to some of your. EOS. Somebody had a question about EOS, and if you guys have a question about any other coins, leave it in the chat, and I'll look at them. Since you do gold, where can you trade BTC for gold? Fucking buy the dip, $5. Thanks a lot, man. That's one thing that I notice other YouTubers do that I guess I don't do enough is this, I guess they're called super chats, but yeah. All right. So I'll look at Link BTC and then EOS. All right. So Link BTC for buy the dip. As I said, Link BTC All right. Sound should be back. Yeah. It's not the mic, you fucking. It's not the mic. It's not the mic, dude. Fritz Lang says it's live, anything can happen. No, it's not the mic at all. It's what? Sound should be back, dude. Sound is not back? Yeah, it is back. Okay. Yeah, sound should be back. There might be a lag between when I type that and yeah. So I just unplugged and plugged back the microphone. It's not the mic. It's freaking the new YouTube Live platform. But anyway, what I was saying on Link is it is at the 200 moving average, oversold on the RSI, same levels the RSI here. I do think it's in a good accumulation zone. Volume is terrible, and essentially that's what you expect to see before a run up, right? That's what you expect to see before a run up is terrible volume. Jesus Christ. Okay. I don't I don't know. Guys, I don't know what's up with YouTube and OBS. Anyway, but yeah, and then I was saying is the only thing I'd watch out for is this mini death crosshair between the 50 and the 100. But I think that most of the blood has already taken place. If you look at from, swing high to swing low, that's a 60% loss in value on Link. And I like to buy shit when it goes down, right? So for me, I'm a lot more comfortable buying here than seeing something and trying to FOMO in. But again, this isn't a swing trade opportunity, right? This is an accumulation zone. We don't know when the volume is coming back. Look at this volume. This volume is utter shit. So you cannot predict volume at all, right? So, that's essentially my take on Link. It's in a great spot for accumulation here, finding support at the 200 moving average. He said long pre-recording, short the live stream. You guys are a mess. Somebody else had a question. Someone said XRP. I think I read that. For those of you that are not Ripple fans, don't get butthurt. It's just a fucking coin. All right? Don't get attached to these coins. XRP is in a buy zone to me. I said it before. For the last month, it's been trading at in this range between 25 and 27 cents. It doesn't seem to. All right. Okay. Should be back on. God damn, man. It's fucking killing me. The mic got angry. You guys jinxed the mic. He said XRP and it crashed. What I was saying about XRP is it's been in the same range for a month. This is a very low volatility range. And regardless of what BTC is doing, XRP remains in this range. And I've said it before, XRP is in a great spot. If you look at the weekly, you'll see that, it's essentially at the same support level that it's been at before, right? If you go all the way back to mid 2018, it's essentially at the same support level. So where this T line is here, I'll zoom in a little bit, but where this T line is here. So I'm okay holding XRP from here. It's not a swing trade. It's just a long-term hold. Hey, TTT, I think it's your internet service. They screw up live streams. You know what? You might be right, and I don't do enough of them to know. So if in 2 days 2 live streams got screwed up, you might be 100% right. So far it looks like the live stream health is good, but all right. So you you guys are hilarious. Guy Gamer says, "I need some volatility." Very mature. All right. Hey, Give me Popeyes or Chick-fil-A. Okay, now we're getting into the real conversation, dude. Now we're getting into the real conversation. 100% honesty. I don't know how you could pick Chick-fil-A over Popeyes. Like, I think Chick-fil-A is healthier and there's a lot healthier options, right? You can even get freaking grilled nuggets at Chick-fil-A. But but Popeyes is just so much crispier. It's definitely fried in more oil. It just tastes way better. Now, in terms of the chicken sandwich, I haven't tried it, but I'm just talking about the regular fried chicken. Can someone bring me some garlic sauce from Zanku? Oh shit, Ed, dude, you live in LA? How do you know what Zanku is? For those that don't know, Zanku Chicken is this Mediterranean spot. It's actually Lebanese. It's a Lebanese Armenian spot in LA, and Pepsi tried to buy Zanku so many times. And not only Pepsi, but other corporations, and the family said hell no. And I think there's 6 or 7 of them in LA. But man, Zanku is where it's at. They sell for those of you that know Arabic food, they sell shawarmas, and euros and stuff like that. But it's amazing. Yeah, Zanku is where it's at. I have yet to try Popeyes. It's sold out here. Oh, you must be talking about the chicken sandwich. But yeah. All right. If any of you have any more insightful, really important questions like that, let me know. Okay. What other coins do you want me to look at? NYC. Yeah, man. I think you know what's funny about NYC. I think NYC is a little overrated when it comes to food, and LA is a little underrated when it comes to food. I think that they're a lot closer than people give them credit, or that than people give LA credit for. And I think people overhype New York a bit too much. I've had some really terrible food in New York, a lot. So, but yeah. All right. Let's see if there is any coins that you want me to look at. Mr. Ether, love you, bro. I don't know if you're talking about me, but if you are, I love you too. Link, oh, EOS. Somebody wanted me to look at EOS. All right. So, volatility. Volatility is the new name for volatility because we're all mature here. So, EOS, Sam Adams, are you trading EOS against BTC or USD? Anyway, I'll look at it against USD. I'm just gonna assume for you, and look at it against USD. New York sucks in my opinion. They're so much better everywhere. New York doesn't suck. It's one of my favorite cities. I just think it's overrated for food, and LA is underrated. LA has by far, for sure, the best Mexican food on the planet is in LA, even better than Mexico. Sorry, Beto. And for those of you that live in Mexico, LA has better Mexican food than Mexico. 100%. EOS is actually in a pretty bearish pattern here. This does look like a wedge. You could, depending if you're playing the wicks or not, say that it's a descending triangle, but this is a bearish continuation pattern coming from, falling from highs with this descending trend line here. So this is essentially a bearish pattern, and you do expect to break to the downside from here. I would not trade EOS until we can essentially right now it's at the 0.786 fib level, which you'll see here. So it's currently finding support here for over a week, but essentially it would have to it has to maintain this, or you can then target the 1 fib level as the next support level. Even though actually before that you would have a few support levels before that, just based on historical support and resistance. Like there's one here at around 2.2, but I wouldn't trade EOS at the moment. There's bearish patterns all around. Even if you zoom out a bit, you'll see that there's a head and shoulders here on EOS. I really don't like it at the moment, unless you're dollar cost averaging. So I would essentially leave this alone until it shows me that it wants to reverse. But EOS to me right now is dead, right? I mean, you see like the MACD is just flat, not only flat, but it's flat in the negative. All right, let me go back to the chat. Crypto Frontier says Tex-Mex. No, dude, it's not Tex-Mex. LA has some of the most authentic Mexican food in the world. It's not. I'm not talking about Tex-Mex. If you come over here, I'll show you. What you think is the next high target for BTC? Breaking resistance at 11K. We see at least 15K this year. Yeah, I do think it's possible. Um, I do think it's possible to hit 15K this year. However, I do think that, and I keep talking about this, and it eventually will happen. But when we're not fortune tellers, but I do think that we're in line to eventually. I mean, you see this descending triangle on the weekly too, but I do think that we're in line to hit the 21 EMA, the weekly 21 EMA, which is this white line, which currently is at, if I pull this down, it's at 91.19, which is not bad if we do hit it, right? I mean, before when we were talking about hitting it, it was in the 7,000s, and now the price has jumped up and averaged a high price over the long run. That the 21 weekly EMA is at 9,100. So, um, I do in the long term. This right here is actually a bullish pattern, right? So you have this rounding bottom, potentially a cup and handle. That right there is a bullish pattern. But we're talking about the short term. I do think that we're going to hit the 21 weekly EMA, and then eventually the highs for Bitcoin. Realistically, I would say 14,000 would be my 2019 high, and we could essentially get to to this level here at around 16,000 if we do break 14,000 convincingly. I wouldn't put it past Bitcoin at all. In the long run, I do think that we're going to see a price way higher than 20,000. I mean, I was saying this to somebody before, but going from less than $1 to 20,000 is much more unrealistic than going from 20,000 to 50,000, right? You're just talking about a 2x there versus going from less than $1 to 20,000, which is unreal. Let me look at what the chat is saying. How does TA on a pair like EOS BTC interact with TA on EOS? Does one take precedence? I'll explain that to you in a second, Kim.net. You need to collab with Elizio Rastani. You know what? I get a lot of collab suggestions, but I don't know. You guys need to make it happen. If you are on these guys' live streams and on their videos or whatever, just comment to them. And yeah, I don't mind at all doing a collab with anybody. But I think that the person that I get the most requests for is Crown. And I think you spell his name with a K, if I'm not mistaken. Kim.net says, how does TA on a pair like EOS BTC interact with TA? Okay, so essentially what you're saying is, does one drive the other? At a very, from a superficial level, right, at a very basic level, essentially what happens is this. For EOS BTC to go up, right, EOS USD would have to climb at a higher rate than Bitcoin USD. That's essentially what's happening. Now, one can drive the other, right? So EOS BTC is its own market. EOS USD is its own market. And there isn't a clear indication which one drives the other. But, if EOS BTC could directly climb, right? But essentially, for that to happen, EOS USD also has to be at a higher rate, climbing at a higher rate than BTC USD. And if that's not the case, then EOS BTC won't be climbing. I know that it's confusing, and it's more like Forex than it is stocks when we're talking about, when we're talking about current cryptocurrencies, right? Because it's the same as if you're talking about, if I ask you, is the dollar gaining against the Japanese yen, right? But then we bring in the Mexican peso into the conversation, a third currency. Then essentially you would have to relate everything to the Mexican peso. If the dollar rises against the Mexican peso at a higher rate than the Japanese yen moves up against the Mexican peso, then that means that the dollar is up against the Japanese yen. So it's the same thing that's happening. But there isn't one market that's driving the other. They're separate markets. Separate volumes, etc. But essentially, the value of EOS against BTC can come down to, is EOS up against USD at a higher rate than BTC is up against USD. So, all right, now is a good time. What is Thomas saying? Yeah, I'm just waiting for a good time to exit the market. Like, man, to exit the market. Are you talking about in general, or do you have a bunch of bags that are down 90%? Crypto Frontier, Crown is the boom. Fast talker. Yeah, I haven't watched much of him, but from what I've seen, he's one of the few YouTubers who I would definitely be down to do a collab with, and who I would say knows what he's talking about. Most people that I come across or that people recommend to me, I would say don't know what they're talking about. And it's funny because a lot of these crypto YouTubers I did meet when I used to go to conferences and stuff, and they would ask me about technical analysis. One of them, a very, very well-known crypto YouTuber, I won't say his name, but he even asked me, why do you do technical analysis? Does technical analysis work? It just seems like such a pie in the sky idea. And again, I'm not going to say who it is. And it's so funny that now when you guys post his videos once in a while in the chat on the Discord, it's all technical analysis, which is hilarious. But thoughts on Bakkt and what kind of price can we expect? I already talked about this, man. I know you probably weren't here, but I already talked about this. I don't think that I think that most of it is priced in already, right? Fucking buy the dip. Yes, he's great. Yeah, man. Like I said, what I've seen from Crown is I like him. Crown is cool on his own. Yeah. All right. So Fritz Lang says, I got rid of all my alts besides some free leftovers 6 weeks ago. Yeah. I mean, the in terms of use case, and I say this often, there's no relation between use case and price, right? So back in the day, people used to say, back in the day, I mean, just last year and before that, you talking Crypto Crow? No, I'm talking about a guy named Crown who spells it with the K. Oh, you're talking about that story? No, it wasn't Crypto Crow. No, but it's a guy whose channel is probably on that level. I don't know. I haven't checked subscriber count yet. According to that chart that came out, it's saying next target for BTC at 16K this October. That will be nuts. No, dude, Sabine or Sabin or Sabin. Sorry for mispronouncing you. There is no having a certain price by a certain date, especially one that is that imminent, right? October is right around the corner. That's not TA, dude. That's not TA. That's something that crypto YouTube has perpetuated, and it's something I actually hate. These timed predictions. When will this be this price by what time? Like that, nobody can tell you that. Nobody can tell you that. Now 16K, remove the time base from it. Remove the time factor from it. As I just showed you, 16K is very realistic. It's this resistance here on the weekly. You see it right here, right? It's the resistance that we saw in January 2018. So 16K is a very viable target. But saying that it's going to happen, on October 25th or whatever, no, man. That's, that nobody can tell you that. It's cool if you have a target and, you want to see if your prediction is right or whatever, but that's TA is not about time predictions. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. But, I was talking about alts. I was saying that there used to be this thought that if there was a project that was a good project that had a great development team or whatever, that somehow means that coin will be successful in terms of price. And that's not the case, right? That is, the price of coins is just speculative. It has nothing to do with use case. Like somebody on the chat said, 99% of these coins are useless. And I agree with him or her. That is the actual fact, right? And people talk about blockchain like it's the next best thing in the tech world. Well, it might be creative technology, or it might be a creative way of doing advanced databases, because that's all it is. It's an advanced database, and any programmers out there know that it's not even that complex. Yeah, it's a revolutionary idea having a an immutable ledger that keeps track of transactions, and then building a new money system based off of that, that's awesome. I'm with that idea, but it's not complex. It's not hard technology. So what does that mean? That means that Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, whoever can create their own blockchains. They don't need Wabi or VeChain or A-Chain or Cardano. They don't need any of these companies or coins. And essentially, people don't like to admit it, but what these coins did, it was just highway robbery. That's all it was. It was just a way to make a quick buck, right? All they did was create an ERC20 token, which again is not hard at all to do programmatically. You can just ask any programmer. It's open source. You can do it. We can create a coin tomorrow. And as a matter of fact, we should do it for a YouTube experiment. It would be hilarious. But you can create a coin and then, an Ethereum based coin. And then you could sell that in an ICO for Ethereum, right? So you're selling it to people, shilling it through these crypto YouTubers. And I've never taken a dime at all. And I've never done a review at all for any one of these crypto projects. I'm proud to say that. But you can essentially shill your new coin. These suckers will give you their Ethereum. You give them your newly created coin, and then you dump Ethereum on the market for fiat. And that's it, man. That's it. That's how you get rich. And you essentially make tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars while skirting all kinds of regulations. And you don't even need to update your project. The people that own your coins don't own a share of the company. They don't have a say. They're not on the board. They can't take you to court. It's not a security, et cetera, et cetera. They don't owe you any profits or any profit potential, whatever. So, that to me is essentially what happened with most alts and what continues to happen with most alts. So, yeah, I agree with whoever said it earlier that alts are 99% bullshit. And I say it, people used to get mad at me for saying this, but why are you buying these coins if it's not to make profit? That's the only reason you should be buying these coins. They don't owe you anything, right? You're not getting anything. When you buy VeChain or when you buy EOS or when you buy Link or XRP or whatever, those companies are not giving you anything. There's no transparency. They don't have to, they're not accountable to you. So essentially, the only reason you should be buying those things is to sell them for more money, whether that's you want to profit in Bitcoin or whether you want to profit in US dollars. Essentially, the only reason that you should be buying coins is to sell them for higher value. That's it. No other reason. So don't sell yourself short. All right, rant over. Flat Earth chain. Yeah, that's buy the dips. Buy the dips coin is going to be called Flat Earth chain. Google needs Chainlink. No, Google does not need Chainlink. Trust me. Google can create 1,000 companies 10 times the size of Chainlink's development team and not even feel a dent on its balance sheet. Any thoughts on mining Grin? That's not really my realm, man. Crypto frontier. I don't speak on things that I'm not that I don't know about. So I don't know much about mining Grin. Do look at I do know about mining in general as a theory, but I don't know much about mining Grin. So if you are, if there are any statistics that you can look up on Grin in terms of, the hash rate or, in terms of, the mining power that is required to mine Grin, what your expected rewards are, et cetera, just do your due diligence and see if there's any profit in it for you based on how much you can mine based on the amount of power or hash that you have. All right. Nice rant. Totally agree. Fritz says, yes. But Google's projects won't have great hearts. You guys are a mess, dude. Friday night is not the night to do live streams. Or it might be. I don't know. This is hilarious. But I should have got a bottle of whiskey. And next time I'll have some tunes up. All right. Let us look at the chat. Anybody else have any questions about coins? So are we bearish at the moment or bullish? Dummy Archer is asking. Are we bearish or bullish? I've done a rant about this question as well. Um, it all depends on the time frame that you're talking about. You can't be just bearish or bullish in general, right? So as I said, long term, I'm very bullish. This is a bullish pattern here, right? And if you look at something like Bitstamp or what is that? Is it Brave New Coin, the BLX index? And you look over time, right? You'll see that Bitcoin looks like any other successful market, whether it's gold or whether it's the S&P 500 or whatever, that it is basically one trend line up. It's just a series of newer highs over a long period of time. So in the long run, yes, I'm very, very bullish on Bitcoin. But in the short term, yeah, I mean, like today, I had a successful short that netted me 70%. It does not mean that I'm bearish on Bitcoin. It just means that in the short term, I saw an opportunity to exploit, right? So you could be bearish in the short term, bullish in the long term, or vice versa, or whatever. So yeah, I'm still very bullish in the long term, and I will continue to exploit these short term bearish opportunities. Full plant stoked. ENJBTC. Okay, I'll do that. Are you still driving the M3? Milan Angelov says, yes, of course. Or Milan. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Of course I'm still driving the M3. I don't know. I should be more active on social media. I am on YouTube stories, so follow me on YouTube stories. You should see it pop up in your feed anyway if you are signed up for notifications. But yeah, no, I'm still driving the M3, still enjoying it. Spicy chicken sandwich coin. Yes. Mexican Charlie Lee. Yo. What's going on, man? Thank you for your video. Thanks, Albert. What the fuck? Dude, Sibsy has left. These kinds of messages going all the way back to a year, dude. All right, Dummy Archer, what indicators do you use? You see it right here, dude. I use moving averages, RSI, MACD, some sort of flow indicator, right? In this case, this is the OBV. And then I use the Fibonacci retracements that you see here, right? These Fibonacci retracements. So those are mainly what I use. Every once in a while, I'll use the Bollinger Bands. I'll use the Ichimoku clouds. But it's really all about finding ways to find accurate support and resistance, right? That's all you're doing, really. And then measuring volume and flow against that. That's all you're doing, really. Good question, Max. There are plenty of people with great minds working on BTC, yet BTC has no marketing team. It is a mystery at times. Well, Bitcoin is decentralized. That's why it has no marketing team, right? It's like saying, it's like saying gold doesn't have a marketing team, right? There's people that market that make money off of marketing gold, but gold itself doesn't really have a marketing team. And Bitcoin is the same way, right? There's people that definitely make money off marketing Bitcoin, like Tone Vays or Jimmy Song in that regard. Their businesses are based on marketing Bitcoin, or Andreas Antonopoulos, or even me, right? Even though I don't consider myself in the same business that some of those people are in. But yeah, glad to catch your live stream. You're one of the few YouTubers I listen to in this space. Thank you for all you do. Thanks. Sari or Cherry Lines. I've seen you comment on my videos before. But awesome. Now, serious question. Do you use volume profile? Yes, I do use volume profile. Volume profile is, now the one thing you have to be careful about. So let's look at an example. But the one thing you have to be careful about with volume profile is the time frame. Whoa, how did this pop up? The one thing you have to be careful about with volume profile is the time frame of what's viewable in your chart, right? So, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's just pull up volume profile here. So volume. Actually, you know what? I have VPVR saved in my favorites. Where is it? Visible range. There you go. Yeah. So, and for those of you that don't know what this is, Devan Jossi says, I was watching Crown's live video yesterday, and he was so optimistic about the price reaching 11,200 to 11,500. It still might, man. But, when I woke up this morning, I saw the opposite, and that's why I put in the short, and I sent it out in the trade alerts. But anyway, so what I was saying about the volume profile, for those of you that don't use this, it basically shows you at what price, right? See, it says vertical reading of volume instead of horizontal instead of the vertical reading of volume here. It shows you at what price most of the action happens, right? And the lit up area, the area that's highlighted that you see here in these bars, is the area that most of the price action happens. And the ones that are grayed out is where the least action happens, right? So, in terms of the time frame of the charts, this is the daily. If you're zoomed in, right, and the only visible range of the chart is going back to, say, June, for instance, you're going to get a different volume profile than if you zoom out all the way and now, your chart includes March, going all the way back to March 2018. The volume profile looks very different. So all you basically just have to watch out and make sure that the volume profile you're looking at matches the time frame of the chart that you're looking at. So in this case, I would look at a relevant time period. I wouldn't want to really look at something pre-December 2018. And the reason I say that is because that's where the rally started. This whole rally started, coming from the 3,200 range. That whole rally started from there. So you can look at, where the volume profile is according to this rally. And you could see why Bitcoin is struggling to break these new grounds here, or I guess renewed grounds here, because this is where the least volume happens, and most of the volume happens, below 10,300. If you're going all the way back to December. However, if you want to measure, say, just the recent rally that we saw in June, then you would have to zoom in to June and check out what the volume profile looks like. So, that's the only caveat I'll say, is just be careful with the volume profile, because it is dynamic according to how much of the chart is actually viewable, right? All right. And then Buy the Dip was saying, Thomas Fody II, when is the website going up? Yeah, so for those that don't know, I am building a new website. It is going to be going up within the next month or two, and I will most likely be shutting down the Patreon. So any new members would have to sign up. Either you sign up now and you're just grandfathered in, or you would have to sign up through the website directly, instead of through Patreon. And I might be raising the prices a little bit for those newcomers that aren't yet signed up, right? Instead of grandfathering you guys in. So if you're already signed up, you'll be grandfathered in. For the new members, I will be raising the prices up, and it will be directly through my website as opposed to through the Patreon. So, but the new site should be going up within a month or two. So thanks for asking about that. And Buy the Dip was asking about Engine Coin against Bitcoin. And this is one that we swing traded as well and made a good amount of money on, but now it's just retraced back down. Actually, you know what? Let me remove the VPVR real quick. All right. Yeah, man. I mean, Engine Coin is it has retraced a bit. I don't really see, unless you're looking at a short-term chart like the 4-hour, right? And you can continue to play these swings, but you have to watch out, because it's so wicky that it's very likely to catch your stop limits very easily. But it looks like currently the 50-day moving average is serving, as the support every time it hits the 50 moving average on the 4-hour. Every time it hits the 50, it seems to jump above, right? And when it does fall below the 50, it falls to around the 100, which is the yellow line, before rallying again. So you can essentially keep playing that swing until it isn't there anymore. And it looks like, it is forming a pretty bullish pattern on the shorter time frames. On the 4-hour, you do see the series of higher lows here, right? But like I said, it's very wicky, and it's all due to the volume. There's a lot of profit taking after it climbs, right? You do see these tall red volume bars here. So I would watch out on something like like Engine Coin, I definitely would not hold it for the long term, and I would just continue to play these swings. And I'll send these out in the trade alerts like I have before. But essentially, you can keep playing Engine Coin within this parallel channel here on the 400. Sari or Cherry, sorry about mispronouncing your name once again. Agree with what you were saying about alts. I'm holding bags now that I've literally halved in Satoshi value. Will there be a bounce, or should I cut my losses? Should have realized earlier, of course. Yeah, I mean, what's already done can't be taken back. But I mean, you're talking about half Satoshi value. A lot of them lost in the 90 percentage points. And we're talking about, big coins, huge coins, right? We're not even talking about just fringe alts. But if you look at something like what is this, like Cardano, right? And you use the price range tool and you go all-time high to where it's at currently. Look at this. This is 95%. We're talking about way more than half of the value of Satoshis, right? So no, I personally don't think that altcoins will see a rally in the same way that they had before. I think a lot of these altcoins are dead. And we're talking about top altcoins here. So these shouldn't have a problem these shouldn't have a problem rallying to some extent, but tanking 95% of your value is just not a good look, especially for the top alts. So no, I don't think that a lot of these will gain in Satoshi value, especially if you're expecting Bitcoin to keep rising, right? If you expect Bitcoin to hit 15K and 16K and 20K and 50K eventually, no, I think a lot of these alts are dead. And the price that they were at before is, might never see again. Of course, I'm not a fortune teller, but that is the, that's the most plausible outlook, that for something to lose 95% of its value, it's very hard to see it going back up, especially when the currency that you're trading it against, you're also optimistic about that in the future, and majorly optimistic about it, right? So, unless you think BTC is going to tank at some point and go down to 2,000, I don't see these alts gaining in BTC value the same way that they were before. Obviously, there's a few that might, but even something like Litecoin or Ethereum, I mean, people forget that Ethereum was trading at $1,500. It was basically a tenth of Bitcoin's price, right? Bitcoin was at 15,000 and Ethereum was trading at 1,500. So, Mr. Ether, great stream, gotta go. See you, man. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, look at Ether. I mean, we were at 1,500 and now we're at 169, and Bitcoin's back to 10,000. So no, I mean, I don't think that that these alts will see the value that they saw before. All right. Any other questions? Let me look at this. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. No worries. Do you also check the order to see if there are Nah, I don't do that. Buy walls and sell walls. No, I don't. I really don't do order book trading. And with bot trading, and with stop limits and trailing stops and whatnot, like there's so many types of orders that aren't on the order book. That's already known. Like when you do a stop limit order, it doesn't show up on the order book until the stop price hits and it turns into a limit order. So tons and tons of orders aren't going to show up on the order book. And a lot of the orders on the order book are unrealistic as well, right? Like you'll see if you go up and down the order book, it's crazy. Like you'll probably see buys for BTC right now at like 9,000 or 8,500, right? And we're nowhere near that. So, I already looked at XRP. Sorry, man. Or, yeah, Mylan. Sorry. Yeah. Lots of XRP videos out there right now saying XRP is going to explode. Your thoughts on XRP? I already talked about XRP. I think it's a good spot for accumulation. Rewind the video and you'll see my thoughts on XRP. Do you think the crossing BTC's monthly 10 MA above the 20 MA will have any positive impact on BTC's price this month? No, because you're talking about a monthly chart. So it will have an impact in the coming months. I don't think it will have an impact this month. Thomas Fody II, thanks for all you do. Thanks, man. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Is this the case for Cardano too? I just went over Cardano. So yeah. Joseph Green says, sorry, just got here. We'll do. Oh, no worries, Joseph. No worries. But yeah, I did talk about XRP, and yeah, I do think it's in a good buy range here for the long term. It's not a swing trade, but it's definitely at a level where a major support level that we saw back last year. He said, well, you see, guys, XRP will only go up once I sell it. Well, I mean, just have a pretty healthy, portfolio of holdings. You don't need to, you can have a couple of coins that you hold long term, that you just sit on, right? So, all right. Well, then the mic probs again. I don't know what you're talking about. Cover Litecoin, there seems to be a large cup and handle. Thoughts? All right, let's look at Litecoin. And then I'm going to hop off because I got to go. Where's the large cup and handle? I guess you're talking about this? Yeah. I mean, we've been looking at this for a while. That's why my target on Litecoin was around 175 for the end of 2018. And it's funny because people were saying that it's going to go up much more than that. Back when we were here at $140 in June, people thought that my 175 reading was a little bit conservative, but essentially it came from the fact that we were in a cup and handle or a rounding bottom at that time. And here's where, there's clear support / resistance. So essentially, I do think that we'll eventually get up to here, sometime before the end of the year, potentially. But yeah, I mean, that's my target for Litecoin. Can you tell how exactly you saw an opportunity to short earlier? Yeah, I went over it in the earlier in the stream, but essentially what I saw looking at the daily was we had this descending triangle, and the descending triangle is just a series of lower highs, right? So we had this descending triangle, and the volume, well, let me look at, because XBT is not going to show me the volume, but if I look at BTC, USDT, essentially we had this series of lower highs, and the volume was not great, right, on these pumps here. So we had low volume, and it was still in this bearish pattern, and it was coming up on resistance, essentially. And based on that, right, once it comes to resistance, you are trying to determine what is the most plausible move, right? And the most plausible move is, to me, pretty obvious, is a break to the downside, because it just doesn't have the volume to break above this bearish pattern, right? So essentially this pattern is bearish, and not only do you have to have enough volume to break it, but you have to have enough volume to reverse a bearish pattern and to deny or disconfirm this bearish pattern, right? So essentially all I was looking at is what is the most likely move. And if you've been following the Discord trade alerts, we've been trading within this range for quite a while now, right? This is the pattern that we're following on Bitcoin. Clear support, clear resistance here, and all you're doing is exploiting that. So essentially, it was just the fact that we were coming up on resistance, and the volume was trash. So the most plausible move is a move to the downside, and I had a pretty tight stop limit. If you followed the trade alert, you'll see that I had a pretty tight stop limit at 11,000. You'll see it here. My stop limit was 11,000, so it's pretty conservative. And like I said, it's a low risk, high reward possibility here. So that's essentially why I entered the short. What other coins do you like for accumulating longer term besides BTC? I don't. I struggle to be optimistic about most altcoins holding long term. Now, if you're talking about for the midterm, like I said, I do think XRP is a good buy here. I do think if you look at Link against BTC, it's at a spot where I think is in an accumulation zone, right? If you look at the moving averages, it's currently sitting on the 200-day moving average. So yeah, but if you're talking about long term, as in what do I think I'm going to retire with? Besides Bitcoin, I'm not willing to hold anything like in cold storage or whatever. I'd much rather just hold these midterm and profit off of me buying them at discounted levels. So let's see. Hi Triple T, being in Australia, I don't catch your live show often. Love your content. Greatly appreciate your concise TA. Thanks, guys. I don't do many live streams. This is actually my second one in 2 days, and I don't think I've done one since I was in New York months ago. So yeah. Have you got a favorite altcoin? No, and I shy away from terms like that. I don't know what that means really. Like being emotionally attached to these coins to me is kind of ridiculous. Having a favorite coin or favorite project or whatever, it has no bearing on price whatsoever. So if you're asking me what my favorite is in relation to me thinking that the value will go up because I like certain fundamentals about it, no, I don't. I don't even know what half the coins I trade do. I'll be honest. But if you're talking about, um, in terms of trading, my favorite coin is the coin that makes me money. I'll tell you that. Sell EOS, fair comment. You're awesome. Love to see more live streams. Thanks, OG Cummins W250. I will be doing more, especially if the live stream does not continue to crash as it has done once earlier today. But once is good compared to yesterday. I will have to call my internet service provider and see what the fuck is going on. But awesome short you did there, man. Thanks for answering. I have to go eat my cup of noodle ramen now. Well, if you did good on the short, hopefully you can afford at least a steak tonight. But yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna dip out because I've been here for over an hour. Wow, I don't think I've ever done that. So I'm gonna dip out and continue to follow the notifications. I will send these live streams notifications out, and also, I know that we have traders from all over the world, and so I will try to do these within various time frames, right? I'll try to do some in the morning. I'll try to do some at night, my time. But yeah, I want to try to cover as much ground as possible. I like doing these, and I like, I like taking your questions. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time. If you are not signed up to the Trade Alert, sign up, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there. Peace.